Hey, soon to be seniors. I wanted to create this real quick for you guys um, to help prepare you for what's to come next fall. Okay. Um, Obviously, I'll be visiting with you all next week. I'm actually recording this April 15th, Wednesday. But I wanted to get some very specific information to you about what you could be doing and why you're wanting to maybe start on this project over the summer. Okay. I don't want to give you all of this information. One, because it's like syllabus day, it's overloading, right? If I give you all of the information of what to expect and what to do, what this project is going to be like, I promise you it's going to be overwhelming. I ask for you to trust me in this process that I have tweaked this and tweaked this and tweaked this every single year for the last over 10 years, okay? Because I have learned from the years past what are some helpful hints, what has worked best, what has worked well, strategies of other students that I'm going to suggest to you. Okay, everyone works differently, everyone organizes their mind and research and stuff differently. So I'm going to give you some different possibilities. But I'm not going to give you the end as we're starting at the beginning, okay? Step one, obviously, is to think through what your topic is. Sorry, I'm actually kind of looking for, I want to be able to screen share something with you real quick. But you want to look for what am I wanting to actually research? Okay, so I'm going to, as soon as the document comes up, I'm going to show you something to really help you be able to do that. Okay, unfortunately, in the past, I have always, this is actually step one in your homework and your assignment. And so I want to kind of give you this information before you even really fully dive in, because it's really weird to come in the fall after you've kind of already solidified a lot of this and then have to kind of go backwards. Okay, so for you guys, because I love you more than all of the other years, I'm going to show you what your, not going to go over all of this, your step one. So how cool would it be for you to actually get done your first week's assignment over the summer? So make sure you save it and then email it to yourself. Make sure you save it in multiple areas, because that's rough when you figure out what you want to do and then you get work done over the summer and then it's all gone. So and multiple times in this class, you're going to hear me, make sure you save it on the cloud. Make sure you save it on your hard drive. Make sure you email it to yourself. Every single step, every single part of this project, save it as many aspects, because I promise you, oh, my computer crashed, oh man, I lost it, I'm going to have utmost compassion for you. Like, that sucks. And it happens every single year. Every year. It happened last year to two, last year it happened to one, the year before it happened to two of the seniors right before, like 3 weeks before this was due. So, but they had one of them had it emailed to them, and one didn't. So it was rough. Okay, without further ado, step one, topic analysis. So this is, as we're gonna be meeting here in a week and a half via Zoom, here is things to be thinking upon, things to be like helping that funnel situation that I talked to you guys about during registration. Okay, topic analysis. So I'm going to read this with you. Let me blow this up a little bit so that hopefully you can maybe even see it better on your screen. Okay. Yeah, we're not going to be doing like research where you're doing the live research. Okay. Look, and you someday you can do research just for the sheer joy of doing research. For this experience, your research needs to address two different therapy models or programs, and I'll explain the difference, that deal with a specific demographic, DSM-5 diagnosis, or issue. Okay, so like, guys, I understand some of you are not wanting to go into this field. I understand some of you are not wanting to like, yeah, for those of you, like some of you wanting to go into law, some of you are wanting to go like into underwater basket weaving. Like it, the point of this is, one, I want congruency within the project, because it would be very difficult if I were to talk to like Jess about like, okay, this is what she's doing because she's going into this field, and then I'm going to go over here and talk to like JP, and I'm going to talk to him about something different. Man, that would make class one, that would be really confusing, and that would take so much time, and there's no consistency, no congruency. So this is the assignment, this is what we're doing, and we're all going to be on the same page. This assignment is not about whether you're going into therapy or whether you're going to be doing this. Okay. Like for some of you are wanting to go to law school. Okay. Pick a disorder that is pretty common for those who maybe do the insanity plea. Do something in conjunction with like what you're potentially interested in. Okay. Or are there some family members of yours that maybe have more tendency? Like what is just interesting for you? Okay. So, but regardless, this is the assignment. And I want to preface this. For those of you who are potentially going to any type of graduate school, whether right out of school or down the road, I want you guys to understand and know that this project in and of itself, if you can complete this and pass this, I promise you graduate school is for you. Graduate school is going to be fine, easy breezy. You'll do fine. So if you have concerns, it's not this project, because you will never, I mean, depending upon what you're doing, you will never do a project in your master's program that's probably this difficult. Okay. Though, what this assignment in and of itself is going to be teaching you is how to manage stress, how to prioritize, time manage, how to work through your issues of perfectionism or lack thereof, of I don't care, I'll get it done kind of an attitude, and your ability to research, because at the end of the day, that's what matters in the real world. Can you research out what you need to know in order to do what you need to do for the job you have? Okay. And if you are going into this field, welcome, because this is what you get, not to this extent, but researching out what is the best of most effective therapy treatment for a certain disorder, welcome. This is the rest of your life. Cheers. Okay. For this, you have, so let me tell you what you are going to be assessing what is the most effective, not the best, okay? Because the best means this is the best for everyone, and you're never gonna find that, okay? Best is also an absolute, and we know what we don't use in APA, we don't use absolutes, right? Okay, so it's not the best, it's the most effective. There's not gonna be an awesome one and a sucky one. It's gonna be like the most and just a little bit less effective, okay? So that's what is the most effective treatment model for the demographic? So for like adolescents struggling with or diagnosed with, okay? So here's the difference of why you would use struggling with. That would be an issue. Diagnosed with would be a DSM-5 disorder. So let's say I'm going to study adolescents who struggle with bullying or being bullied, or adolescents with complex trauma. Complex trauma is technically not a disorder yet. Okay. Or adolescents struggling with suicide. Now, that could be major depressive disorder or it could be borderline. Okay, but we're going to specifically focus on suicidal ideation. I think that would probably be a little bit more difficult if you're not focusing on a specific disorder, but it's doable, very doable, okay? And you would still do research on major depressive disorder because that's just going to be naturally a diagnosis given predominantly, or borderline for those individuals, okay? Or potentially others, but that's predominant. You could look at bipolar as well, but bipolar is going to be a rough one. I wouldn't suggest that. Okay, and then so a diagnosis is simple, like pick a diagnosis. Now, I would say, like, okay, I'm going to go with, like, on here, one of the examples is autism spectrum disorder. So it's not going to be treating. There's no treatment for autism spectrum disorder. There's no, like, fixing, right? There is symptom management. But let's say what you're going to need to do with whatever issue or demographic, but let's take demographic because it's just a little easier to explain what I'm about ready to talk about. For the DSM-5, okay, Google, if you obviously have not spent $100+ on a DSM-5, Google the criteria for, since we don't have access to the library right now or my diagnostic manual, Google the criteria for whatever, so autism spectrum disorder. And here's all the criteria. You will never find a treatment model that will effectively treat or symptom manage all of these criteria. It's just not out there. What you need to do is look at what kind of, as I look at different treatment models, where do I see most of them poking at? What criteria do I see? Or let me just choose. I want to work on how to develop emotional intelligence for to build intrapersonal relationship skills. Okay, I want, so that's what I'm interested in, is how to build intrapersonal skills within adolescents, adults, those who are, you want to pick a demographic, young adults diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. Okay, so you want to pick the criteria or criterion. It can be 2 or 3 or so. Like PTSD, you might be looking at the triggers as well as flashbacks and nightmares, right? So you might be looking at a few criteria, but you're going to want to look at the criteria. So you can either pick the criteria you want and then find the treatment models that fix that or treat that, work with that, or you can search out treatment models and then let the research inform you as to what criteria would be helped, treated, fixed, worked with, whatever, lessened of those criterion. Okay, so that's what you want to be thinking about. Okay, So be careful here. Far too many students get these grandiose ideas about what they're going to study. When you find yourself soaring into imaginary moments of discovering some great element of the universe, of being the recipient of great renown due to your research, slow down, take a breath, and refocus. This is not a doctoral thesis. This is your final research project for your senior year. Okay. So I'm going to take a second real quick. The senior research project and capstone used to all be fit into a semester and a directed study on top of that. Trust me, it was horrific. Okay, horrific. And it was a lot. And most students were having to then go into this because it was a spring semester. And they were having to go into the summer finishing up this project. They couldn't graduate. They couldn't get their diploma. They couldn't get accepted into grad school. They couldn't get a job because they didn't technically graduate. It was affecting a lot. So that's why I have split the major assignments, the case study into senior capstone, and this research project and senior research project, okay? But keep in mind, this is not a lesser assignment than this capstone case study. These are both the of your senior year. This is proving to HLC, which is the accrediting body, that you actually learned something in this and your degree means something, okay? You actually deserve your diploma. Okay, so, but keep in mind, you're an undergraduate student. You're not a doctoral level, and you're gonna hear that multiple times. Okay, here, there are multiple steps to this first assessment, this assignment, but let's talk about the first. So I wanna show you what we're gonna be looking at, okay? So I'm gonna show you what the assignment is gonna look like. This is what you're gonna turn into me, okay? So you're gonna make a table like this. Doesn't have to look perfect like this, but it's gonna look somewhat like this, okay? We're gonna focus on these sections, okay? So you're gonna hear the topics. I'm gonna pick 3 different topics. This is either a disorder or an issue, okay? And then I'm going to, out of autism spectrum, these are 3 possibilities of what I'm interested in within autism spectrum. This can be different criteria. This can be different issues, demographics, so adolescent, children, adults, those kind of things, okay? So that's what the assignment is going to be, but let me walk you through it. So maybe you have the picture, and now I want to walk you through it so you have something to associate. First, you will need to identify 3 different types of demographics, diagnoses, or issues that interest you. Here are a few questions that help you guide you into how and what to possibly choose. First, ask yourself, who and or what are you passionate about? Okay, so again, you're going to be reading a buttload of research about this. Make sure you pick something you're interested, intrigued, excited about learning more about, okay? What type of people or peoples do you hope to work with in the future? Think about that. Do you want to work with, like if you're wanting to go in the legal system, are you wanting to work with criminals? Are you wanting to work more in the family law? Are you wanting to work more in the business law? Are you wanting to work, like, think about that. So how do you work with ODD in juvenile delinquents? Okay, so think about, like, again, what is the population I want to eventually work with, or what am I passionate about, even for self or my family or whatever? What aspect of the field of psychology do you want to know more about? So those are the things to think about to drive how you're going to pick these 3 things, okay? And then give information to these 3 specifics of them, okay? Second, under each topic, isolate 3 issues, problems, or questions that pique your interest about that issue or disorder. You should find 3 issues, problems, or questions for each topic. This process will help you refine your thoughts and help me get a better glimpse into the things that interest you. Sometimes you might be surprised by what connections exist in what seems like a diverse set of topics. Okay, So, and then the third one, so if you look up here, this is just 1, 2, 3. So these are the 3 different types of demographics, criterion, issues within this disorder. Okay, so if you see what model or program best, and that's bad wording, you want most effective. Okay, so this is, I literally took this off a student. Okay, so this is not the best way to write. What model program most effectively helps teachers to be effective with their autistic students in the classroom. There's so many writing issues on this, but you get the point. Okay, so this is, I'm wanting to work with autism, but I'm wanting to work with teachers. I want to inform teachers how to help them in the classroom. What model program helps the parents most effectively parent their children to be productive members of society? What therapy model techniques are most effective in managing behavior in children with autism? Okay, do you see how they're all about autism, but they're all different? I have different focus groups, whether it be teachers, parents, or then just the children themselves, if I'm to work with the children themselves. And then this is where, like, this is my hope. This is what I desire. This is the last part. When reviewing what you've written, you will now need to identify the one thing you wish you could fix related to that topic. Okay, what if you were to think in your head, what I want to fix is, I want to know how to help parents and teachers integrate beneficial skills into children with autism spectrum disorder. That's what I'm really, after going all these things, that's really what I want to know how to do. That's what I really want to, like, figure out and fix. Okay, think about to the next one about different premarital couples. So if I want to do premarital counseling, things like what's the best, what am I looking at? What model or program helps lessen divorce rate? Helps prepare couples best for marriage? What program is more effective for a couple's future success? Premarital counseling from a pastor or a therapist or counselor? Okay, but again, what I want to help is, or I want to know how to help, is to better prepare couples for marriage to lessen the divorce rate. Okay, this is going to help you. This is also going to help you write out what your research question is. Okay, which is the next step. Just FYI. Okay, this final step right here will require you to synthesize, okay, in 1-page paper, identify your topic. Explain why this interests you, what you would like to do about it. Why is studying this disorder issue demographic important, and how will studying it benefit others? What symptoms, struggles, problems are related to the particular disorder issue demographic, and which 1 or 2 are you planning on focusing your research or treatment models around? What are the 2 types of therapy models, programs, or techniques you plan on comparing? Okay, to answer this, because you're not at that level yet, this would literally be, what I want you to do is simply Google most effective treatments for autism spectrum disorder, most effective treatments for PTSD in veterans, most effective treatments for helping adolescents who are struggling with suicide. Okay, this is Google. Then give me the top 5, okay? Or 2, give me a few, okay? You could do more than 2 on that. Okay, so that is literally, I will send you these first couple of pages. I'm not gonna send you this whole document because it becomes overwhelming. This is one of like 500 steps. Somewhat kidding, somewhat not. But I'm going to send you those first few documents, first few pages in a separate document so that you have it and you don't have to keep referring to this video. But I hope this is helpful, and at least to get you kind of narrowed down for a topic, demographic, issue, all this kind of stuff. Again, you don't have to do all of that before we meet during finals week for our little kind of a conference-y thing, but it might also help. This is your very first assignment. Think about it. If you get this done, you literally have your first week's assignment done for the fall. Look at you being on top of things. Okay, so I will look forward to seeing you guys in about a week and a half, 2 weeks or so during finals week for our meeting.